All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Dunk Talk podcast. We have an in-person episode with Hunter, obviously, because we're in Wisconsin for the dunk camp. So, yeah, today we're live on YouTube. I got my YouTube live on here asking some questions, so we're just going to get to these questions and answer as many of them as we can. So, we'll get to the first question. Can you dunk off of one? I can dunk off of one, but I am very, very, very inconsistent. Like, some days I'll be punching one-handers easily, and then the next day I can barely touch the rim. So, I don't know. It's just a reps thing. I just don't do it enough, so...
Yeah, for me, I mean, I start off jumping off 1 foot. Like when I got my first dunk, it was 1 foot. Kind of got out of it just because I want to do more 2 foot. And then I get spurts where I'll be, like you said, punching one-handers. Like I've hit East Bays off 1 foot, windmills, stuff like that. But like it comes and goes. Like I'll get knee pain right away. So I got to kind of be careful with it. But other than that, I mean, I still like 1 foot, but I prefer 2. So
yeah, it's weird for sure.
Yeah.
But the next question was, how often do you get injured? I get injured. I never really get injured. I just kind of like have like injuries that just kind of like are always there. So I have quad tendinopathy in my left knee, and then sometimes experience patellar tendinitis in my right knee. And both of those things have never really gone away. I've just kind of had to deal with them, but they're not a huge problem. So yeah, I just do ISOs and stuff to deal with it, but I haven't really gotten hurt in a long time, like a real injury. So yeah.
Yeah, you can't really like tell. That's like a hard question to answer just because you don't really know when you're going to actually get an injury. But for me, the past couple months have been kind of rough for me. Like you said, it's not an injury. I've been just getting pain. So basically, I have my knee pain flared up, my Achilles pain flared up, and then my back pain flared up all at once when I was at Utah camp. And basically, again, I had to go on load management and stuff. So like you can never tell like when you're gonna get injured because it's just basically just what happens in that day and what you've been doing building up to that. But again, you just can't really tell, but you just try to do as much as possible when it's possible. So, but
yeah, it's a difficult question, but
for sure.
Yeah, another one is, how much can you power clean? I power clean around 185, a little bit more than that, but yeah, it depends. I mean, it depends on the cycle as well. It depends on how fatigued I am, but yeah, my PR actually is 185 for 3, so I could probably do a little bit over 200.
Yeah, mine, my PR was 205, but I can consistently get like 2 to 3 reps at about 175, 180, maybe 185. Again, haven't really done it a lot just because I've been in load management, so I've been doing slow squats, basically just slow strength the whole time. So definitely after this camp, really want to get as strong as possible again and just go really hard in the weight room and just pull heavy numbers. But yeah, so that's just the most I've gotten so far. So
yeah, for sure. Another one is, I'm 5'7", can I dunk? Yes, I truly believe that anyone that is like 5'4" or taller can dunk with proper training. We've seen guys at 5'4" doing East Bays, almost doing under bolts, crazy stuff like that. So I mean, if you're super short and you want to dunk, it's totally possible. It just might take a long time. So yeah, it's totally worth the work though. Like if you commit to it for multiple years, it's totally worth it. So yeah, you can totally dunk at 5'7". I don't know what you think about
100%.
that.
I mean, basically the same thing, proper training, and also how young you start as well is a big factor. Like me and him, we lowered as kids, so that helped obviously translate to now. But now basically the thing that we need the most is just to get strong, just to get a higher vertical, because just dunking every day or dunking however many times in a week when we were kids definitely helped, but it only can take us so far. But obviously we're continuing to jump, but then we're also in the weight room training with the proper training that we have while getting stronger. So definitely anybody I think can dunk, like you said. It just kind of depends on how much training you're willing to do. So
yeah, another one is, how much do you weigh? So you can answer that, and I'll look through some more.
I weigh 170 currently. Highest I've gotten is I'll say 180 because it was like it's 179, but 180 was the highest. Yeah, I'm trying not to go past 170. Again, might bulk up a little bit, try to get strong again, and then maybe slightly cut. Not exactly sure what I'm going to do yet, but that's just kind of an idea that I have. But yeah, we're currently right now 170 around.
I'm around 160 right now, and I'm 5'10", just for perspective. I've been anywhere between 155 and 168 in the last year, and I found that I jump really well around 160. It is fun to get up to like 168 because then I'm just a lot stronger, but I definitely jump higher at lower weights. So yeah, another one is what are the best shoes for dunking? The two pairs that I've rotated with a lot are the Wade All City 12s. If you guys don't know what that is, it's from Dwayne Wade's shoe line. Those are really good, and they're a decent price. And then I also love, obviously, the Wade 10s. Those are super great. I mean, they got the carbon fiber on the bottom. Just feels amazing to jump in. So those are my two favorites right now. Probably would lean towards the Wade All City 12s for me right now. I don't really know why, because technically the Wade 10s have way better tech in them, but I just seem to jump better in the 12s. So yeah.
Yeah, mine's the same, but I prefer the Wade 10s more. I don't know what it is. I just been using them longer, so I guarantee if I used the All City 12s more, I would probably like them just as much. But as of right now, I just love my Wade 10s, but it's all personal preference at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like one of the guys that's taking the dunk world over right now is Donovan Hawkins, and he uses GT Cut 3s. Like that's his favorite shoe right now, or just the GT Cut line. And then there's some other pros that are wearing Jordans or whatever. Like it's just all personal preference, so there's not really like an actual answer. It's just kind of what we like, but you kind of have to figure out yourself and what you actually want in a shoe. So
Yeah. All right, we got two quick questions. One of them is how tall are you, and then what is your height with/without shoes, and then also what is your vertical. So I'm 5'10.5" without shoes. I just measure without shoes because I feel like that's what most people do. I have no clue what my height would be with shoes, but obviously it's anywhere between half an inch to an inch higher than that, depending on the shoe. So yeah, and then vertical is officially tested at 41.5. That was at Dunk Camp in June, so that was huge PR for me. That was like 4 inches more than last year. So yeah, 41.5 and 5'10.5 without shoes.
I am 6'1" on the dot without shoes. Technically official vertical is 37.5, but that was at last year's dunk camp, so definitely jumping higher now. But if I had to guess, I'd say around 41, 42 right now. Maybe a little bit lower just because I haven't been jumping max effort in a while, just because I've been battling some ticky-tack injuries here. But I'd say at my peak, maybe 43, 44, but I'd say average around 41, 42. So
Yeah. Another one is how old are you? Well, I just see like some ages in there. So I'm 16.
I'm 21.
21. One of them was do Victory Insoles work? I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I was actually sponsored by Victory Insoles for 4 months, or maybe a little bit more than that. You know, they were giving me free insoles. They were paying me to make videos. And the first time I wore them, I actually was like a high believer that they work because I jumped insanely well. But the more that I wore them, the more I realized that it doesn't really make that much of a difference. And when you really think about it, it just doesn't really matter. So it's really placebo. I mean, I love the guys at Victory. Super nice, but yeah, I would not recommend buying insoles for $150.
Personally, I haven't tried them at all. Again, I don't want to pay $150 for insoles. I'd rather get a pair of shoes that works just as well. But to me, like he said, I don't really think they work. I think it's a gimmick, and like he said, placebo. But I just can't really see how it actually makes sense. I mean, I've heard people say they work, but again, it just could be a confidence thing that you're wearing something that does increase your vertical, but realistically, I don't really think it does. But who knows? I don't really know the tech behind it or anything like that. But to me, I don't think insoles are really going to change that much.
Yeah, for sure. Another one is how much can you guys squat and power clean? My half squat PR, or just like above parallel, is 365. That was not good form at all. So realistically, I could probably do anywhere like around 315. I can rep 300 for like 5. So yeah, I would say anywhere between 315 and 365. But 365 you have kind of done, but I don't really know if I'd count it, to be honest. So, and then power clean, kind of mentioned this earlier, but sitting around 200.
For me, it wasn't recent, but I'd say like a month or two ago, I actually tested my squat again. And it was a full depth squat. I hit 275. Haven't done in a while, obviously. Like I said, I've been doing a lot of load management and stuff like that, so really haven't been lifting heavy. But and then my power clean was 205 at max right now. Yeah. So,
seeing some controversial questions from Christian, which I'm actually okay with answering. One of them is, what are your thoughts on ATG? I am personally on JumpX. He's on THP. Both very similar programs, both very focused on strength and power. I have nothing wrong with ATG. I do think some of their exercises are probably not the best for vertical, but I do respect one of the coaches there, Connor Barth, very highly. We both do. He's one of our favorite dunkers. And I truly believe that, like his stuff at ATG is probably pretty good. So I do think that some of it might not be the best for increasing your vertical, but I do know one of the coaches there is very smart, and I don't think that he would work there if it wasn't something. So yeah, again, like I wouldn't do a lot of the stuff that they do, but I do respect Connor a lot.
Yeah, for me, actually, back in the day, like I'd say like my freshman, sophomore year, I actually was on ATG for like I'd say like 2 months maybe. And I didn't see anything vertical wise increase. I mean, I just saw my overall just like flexibility and like I guess feeling good go up. So I don't think I got more athletic out of it either. But like I said, I believe heavily into strength training, which a lot of it they don't. I mean, they do some strength training, but a lot of it's more like the functional type stuff and stuff like that. So like I prefer to squat, to power clean, to do all these heavy lifts rather than doing these little extra things. So like I said, I don't really have like beef or anything with them or hate them or anything like that, but I just prefer the strength training that I'm doing on THP. So
Yeah, for sure. Also, just want to say I really appreciate the questions, guys. Keep it up. Means a lot.
Appreciate it.
This is probably the most viewers I've had on a live in a minute. So, yeah. Another one is, did Miller's bounce dunk count? I was kind of like wanting to not talk about this, but I'm honestly okay with talking about it.
Same.
Miller, if you guys do not know, is a dunker from overseas, and he recently did the bounce dunk, or he posted that he did the bounce dunk. Did not say any rim height or anything, but clearly mentioned in his YouTube video that he was the first one to do it, and he also name dropped some guys like Haugen and Isaiah. And so we all thought it was legit, and then a dunker from the area came in and said that the rim height was 9.9 3/4, and he also used a FIBA ball, which was obvious from the video since you could see it. And if you guys do not know, FIBA balls are women's size, 28.5, but the same weight as men's. So the question is, does his dunk count? Personally, I would lean towards no. I think that the cutoff should at least be 9.10.5, and to do that and also use a FIBA ball, not great. If it was just a FIBA ball, I might be okay with it, but considering it was like considerably low and with a FIBA ball on a huge dunk like that, for him not to mention it, I don't think it was very cool. So that's just my opinion on it.
Kind of similar on it because there have been a bunch of guys that have been trying it on like close to 10 feet. Like obviously a big one is Dan Gross. That's when he's been trying to hit on 10 feet for a while. Donovan Hawkins doesn't really try it too much. Like he doesn't care about it too much, but he definitely is very, very close to hitting it. And like he said, I'd say 9.10.5 is pretty good height to count stuff. But does it count? I mean, like I'd say it counts as a PR, but like to officially say that you've like hit it on a legitimate rim, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Like we all have PRs on different dunks that we hit. But especially for something that's never been hit on a regulation hoop before, I think it kind of does matter a little bit on what type of rim height it is. But I'd say if you're talking about regulation, I'd say no. But if you're talking about if it actually counts, well, yeah, because he made it, and it's a PR that nobody has ever done like that height. So I would say yes and no. Like it kind of goes both ways. But
I don't want to spend like too much time on it. But basically, my opinion is that it's a huge dunk, no matter the rim height. Like anything above 9.5 is ridiculous. So the fact that he hit it is absolutely insane. And I have a lot of, I think Miller's a great dunker. So for him to hit it is insane. I just wish he would have stated the rim height to begin with.
That's where I think a lot of people are like mad about it. Is just he didn't state rim height or anything. He said he made history, and said he was the first person to do it. But again, it's a really good dunk, obviously, really good accomplishment. But I would just say I think it wouldn't to cause as much problems if you just would have stated the rim height. I mean, obviously, probably still people would have been a little frustrated, but I think majority of the people would have been like okay with it if he stated rim height.
All right, we got quite a few questions, so instead of getting both of our opinions, we'll just kind of like go back and forth.
Yeah.
So you got this one. If I have a 35-inch vert at 13 and I keep training, could I reach 47 max one day?
Yes, absolutely. Obviously, you have a really good start now. I would say keep jumping, keep training. Obviously, you're gonna have to get really specific once you get to those higher verticals. Like, if you're really young, you can do a lot of general work and just a lot of jumping, and you're gonna increase your vertical. But once you get to those higher verticals, and when you're actually like hitting puberty and everything like that, you're gonna have to do more specific things. and do things out of the ordinary to actually increase your vertical. And you also might not be able to get to that 47 that you want, just because there is a genetic ceiling that you have, and then the training that you do after that actually makes it like actualized. So it kind of depends on genetics, but at the same time, you can still go past those things. But again, with that, everybody's progress is
Finding
different.
out your genetic peak is like the coolest thing you can do. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't really worry about the number.
Yeah.
But
Just do your best.
yeah. Another one is I'm 5'9" and can grab rim. Should I do more plyometrics or weightlifting? In my opinion, I think that plyometrics are not necessary for most people. I say most people, so don't like completely count yourself out. I would say that for 1-footers, plyometrics can be super helpful just because it helps with the ground contact time. But the really the only plyometric that you need is max intent jumps. So if you don't know what that is, it's literally just jumping as hard as you can from a full approach. So that's really the only thing you need, and obviously you need to moderate that so you don't get injured. So yeah, I'd say mostly weightlifting and max intent jumps, and then if you're a 1-footer, maybe you can throw some plyos in there. But I would focus mostly on the max intent jumps.
100%.
I can dunk through an alley-oop. Does it count? I'd say yes.
Yeah. Is he talking about self or from somebody else?
Just probably from someone else, just like a tip
Yes,
dunk.
it does count.
Yeah. I would say it's a great first dunk.
Yeah, I mean that's how he got his first dunk before. So
I'd just say keep pushing. Like
yeah, I mean
don't
a
be
lot of people that
satisfied.
we see at camp when we go to at dunk camp, we're probably going to see people get their first dunk, and a lot of the time it's a pro throwing the ball right over the rim and they just throw it down. Yeah. So it definitely does count because that's where a majority of people get their own first dunk at. Yeah. So
it's a great starting spot, but I'd definitely say push for
more
self lob or dribble. What kind of leg workouts do y'all do? I'm on Jump X. Like I said, he's on THP, so we do pretty similar stuff. Obviously, we're not going to drop full workouts in here, but some of just the basic stuff is obviously going to be squats, power cleans, hang cleans, sometimes deadlifts, hip thrusts, some stuff like that.
Calf raises, and then some accessory work, sure. Like I do some Nordic hamstring curls or hamstring curls on a machine, abductions, stuff like that. So kind of varies between cycles that you're on and stuff, but the majority is basically what we said, and then just in different types of volumes and intensities. So
another one is, do you play high school basketball? I'm 16, he's 21, so he's obviously out of high school. But I do play high school basketball. It's not like something that I put all my time and energy into because I typically end up getting a ton of knee pain when I get into basketball. So yeah, I do play, but I don't plan on like playing in college or anything like that.
Yeah, I played from freshman, or I played from earlier on, but in high school I played freshman to junior year, didn't play senior year. Had some things I'm not going to go into, but that's kind of where I found out about the whole dunking thing. So I'm actually glad that I didn't pursue basketball after that, just because I went to find about my dunk journey and the world of dunking. So very grateful that I didn't, but do miss it a little bit. Like I haven't played fives in like 2 years, but dunking is definitely better in my opinion. So
my boy Johan asked, can we get a Wisconsin Dunkers and Minnesota Dunkers collab? 100%. I hope that happens. If you guys don't,
100%.
Know, we got like these dunk teams. Basically, we have like dunk sessions with guys in the area, and I got a great squad in Minnesota. He's obviously got a great squad here in Wisconsin. It's about a 5-hour drive, so we would definitely have to sacrifice some time for it.
Yeah.
But I would totally be down. Obviously, I mean, I just drove here, so it's definitely
this
doable.
is his first time in Wisconsin. He drove 5 hours, and I've been to his house 3 times now, which is still 5 hours. So. It's hard to find guys that want to drive that far too. Yeah. And also with schedules, a lot of guys are in the college scene and then also either work or something. So it's kind of hard to find an actual time where everybody's also healthy. That's another big thing that we got to think about. People need to be healthy. People have to be available and then willing to actually drive that far just to dunk. So there's a lot of factors, but again, hopefully we can have a pretty good session here soon. So after camp.
All right. Next one is pros and cons of 1 and 2 foot jumping. I would say my pros for 2-foot jumping are spin dunks. You can do a lot more spin dunks. I would say you can generally jump higher. We really haven't seen too many guys jump like 48 plus off 1 foot besides Sutherland. And then just generally tricks are pretty good. The pros of 1-foot jumping is you can, and dunking on people too. So those are like my big 3 is spins, max vertical, and then dunking on people. 1 foot, I would say, is really cool because you can get off the ground really fast. Trick dunks, I would say the basic trick dunks like East Bay is like super easy off 1 foot if you jump high enough. And then in-game dunks, fast breaks, you're getting off the ground a lot faster, you're running a lot faster, so it's a lot easier to get in-game dunks. Those are some of my pros and cons.
Yeah, I'd say kind of similar stuff, but one thing about 2 foot is I think you just have a little bit more control on the jump, just because instead of using 1 foot, you're using 2 feet. So I think you have a little bit more control. I mean, kind of depends, but also if you think about it, you're more powerful off 2, just because you're using 2 of your legs instead of 1. So there's that as well. But again, like dunks, spin dunks are really easy off 2. Obviously with 1 foot, in the past, there hasn't been a lot of variation with 1 foot, but then obviously 1 foot God came into the game and he really revolutionized the 1 foot bag. So there definitely is more to the 1 foot stuff now. But I'd say
he's still like the only one. Really,
yeah, he's really the only one. Like there's some guys that are on the come up that are doing some crazy stuff, but even then it's just like it's nothing close to
was
him.
crazy, and then obviously we got Finn.
Yeah, Finn's coming up, so shout out Finn. He was on the podcast already.
John too.
Oh yeah, John's been killing it. We need to get him on the podcast. But yeah, I would say those are like a couple. So
yeah. Do you run sprints? I sprint occasionally. Depends on the cycle, but yeah, I do sprint, and I haven't like seen a huge correlation to my vertical, but again, I haven't really done them too much. So yeah.
I've heard sprints are really good for vertical. Personally, I did do them, but then I had this whole Achilles thing, and I tried going back to sprints and instantly started getting pain again. So I just cut sprints out for a while. Yeah. So unless I get this Achilles thing under control, I don't think I'll really be doing sprints for a while, if not at all, if this keeps occurring. But definitely there is some correlations to increased vertical with sprinting. So
who will have the highest vertical at dunk camp? I would say, excluding pros, first of all.
Okay, yeah.
Isaiah would definitely have the highest. Kilgan would definitely have the second highest. But we're going to get rid of all the pros. I guess Donovan Hawkins, but he's technically a pro.
He's technically a pro, so we can't say that.
I would say, out of everyone that's coming, I don't really know everyone that's coming, to be honest.
Yeah, that's kind of hard to say.
So I would say.
I mean, I guess we'd have to see, but.
Yeah, we'll have to see for sure, because I have no clue.
I mean, I would say Travis is definitely up there.
Travis, he might be considered a pro though.
Yeah, I would say he's pretty good.
Jay Meeks is definitely gonna be up there, depending on his reach.
Yeah.
If I tested, I'd be up there, but I'm not gonna test. Josh will be up there.
Oh yeah, Josh will for sure be up there.
But yeah, there's a ton of guys.
It's kind of. Again, we have to figure out who's actually gonna be there.
I don't even know who's gonna be at this camp, but I'd say like besides like the big four pros, Dom and then Donovan and Travis would be up there for sure. All right, what is your best dunk? We'll do top 3. My best dunk, I want to say double up East Bay, but it's a push off, so probably just in East Bay right now. Double up East Bay and East Bay are 1 and 2 for sure. And then I don't even know, what would you say my third best is? 360 windmill? I don't even know.
Wait, so you had East Bay and then what else?
Double up East Bay.
Double up East Bay.
Kind of hit an elbow at camp, but I don't know. I wouldn't count that.
So I would say 360 windmill.
Probably 360 pump / windmill.
Yeah.
But stay tuned for Monday, because I'm hitting way better dunks on Monday. I'm
BTB?
fresh in a minute. Yeah, for
BTB
for sure.
But mine, for sure, number 1's under both. And then I think you can argue that East Bay off the backboard and East Bay two-hand reverse are kind of neck and neck, I would say. But those are definitely my top 3. But my next big goal is win off the backboard or off the wall, which I've been close to, and East Bay scorpion, which I've been close to. So those will definitely take one of those spots for those third spot, or I think those would be second more than a third spot. But yeah, those are definitely on the come up here. So hopefully I can hit it. I can't, but again, we'll see how I feel. But those are, I would say, my top 3 right now.
Yeah, this one isn't really a question, but someone said I thought dunk camp already happened this summer. If you guys didn't know, dunk camp is actually doing 2 camps in 2 different locations. They've done it for this year and last year. So yeah, we were in Utah in June, but now we're back in Wisconsin for part 2. So yeah, this is gonna be super fun for sure. But yeah, this is the second camp. How much can you guys bench? I bench, my most is 190 at like 160, 165 body weight.
I don't bench like at all. I couldn't do, when I was in high school, I could never bench 135. So I benched 135 one time and I never went back to bench, and that was like 6 months ago. So I guess 135 is my max, but I definitely could do more, but I just don't care about it. Yeah. So There's really no correlation to vertical with that. So
Can you do a standing dunk?
yes,
I cannot do a standing dunk.
I've done
actually-
off vert and then off vert 2 hands, but that's about
I
it.
probably can. But
You definitely can.
I just
You've
never
gotten
try.
close.
I've gotten really close, but I just never.
You just
try
never
it.
try enough. If you tried it for a full session, you would get it.
Is it worth it to switch to 2-foot jumping without any prior training when I can almost dunk with 1 foot? I want to switch because I see people jumping higher with 2. I would say do whatever you feel. Do whatever you feel like, dude. It's not like 1 foot versus 2 foot is gonna like massively change your entire dunk journey. I would say that yes, you can probably jump higher off 2 if you train for it. But 1 foot, again, like we discussed earlier, has its pros. You can get off the ground quicker. You can get in-game dunks easier. You can do trick dunks, some trick dunks easier. Again, 2 foot also has its pros. So I would say do both of them and just see how it goes. And
Yeah, I would say either do both, or it also depends on what you want as goals. So if you want to be a dunker and you want to be able to do different trick dunks, obviously 2 foot is a little bit easier for trick dunks. Obviously, Southern has showed us that it's that 1 foot can be as good, but again, not a lot of people are really up to that standard yet. But if you want to be more of an in-game dunker, I would definitely say probably 1 foot is a little fast breaks. I would say 1 foot's easier, but if you want to get like bodies and stuff, I would say 2 foot. But ultimately is your goal and then how you feel comfortability wise on the jumps as well. So I'll take that in consideration.
what's your standing reach? Mine is 7'10.5" with shoes.
Yeah, I tested at camp, but apparently the Vertec was off. So
What
I
was
would
your
say it's at
previous?
like it was at like 8'1.5", which is that's like I think the last at camp last year I was like 8 foot or
Probably
8.05.
Yeah.
So I think I'm right in between. I would say I'm either in between 8 and 8'1" is my reach right now.
What's your vert goal? I mean, I would just say I don't really have a goal. As high as possible. Obviously, 50 is the number that everyone kind of goes for just because Isaiah and Dak proved it's possible. So I would say 50 is my vert goal. I would have to touch 12 feet and half an inch, which is insane. So that's kind of my goal. I mean, obviously, more than 50 is the goal, but just whatever my genetic peak allows me to get.
Yeah, I would say definitely 50 is a big number as well. But again, as long as I'm continuing to train, continuing to increase my vert, I'm happy. But personally, for me, vertical is not the biggest thing that I worry about. It's the dunks that I do. So obviously, I want to have a high vertical, but if I'm still able to do really good dunks with a low vertical, I mean, that just shows hand speed can kind of take over too. So if I just get a higher vertical, I mean, realistically, I could do some pretty crazy things, but I just care about what dunks I do. Like, I'd rather hit a off the backboard under both or 360 under both off the backboard or something like that instead of hitting a 50-inch vert. That's just personally me, but definitely 50-inch vert is a big goal for me. But
Yeah. All right, let's see what more we got.
I'm gonna see if this is still recording too.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, we're good. And
Milwaukee,
we're at 30 by the way.
Milwaukee or Salt Lake City. Well, we're in near Milwaukee right now, but both camps obviously gonna be great. What's your vert right now? 41.5. Hunter has not tested in a minute.
I might test. We'll see. I'm not entirely sure.
Don't test, bro.
Okay.
Don't test. There's no point. Is that a Ginger Patrick Ewing?
Excuse me. What?
I don't even know, bro.
What?
What was the atmosphere like when Isaiah was testing for 51? Kind of dead.
I mean,
I
we
think-
were all anticipating that he was going to hit it, and obviously his training was going to be up to the point of him hitting it, but
I think once we realized that he wasn't gonna hit it, it was just kind of.
it was just reps after reps, basically, but it was just
depressing.
kind of, like, sad,
It's
but at the
crazy,
same time,
though,
it's like
because he's
getting
still-
up to it, like, building up to it was definitely hype, but then, like, as he kept trying, he wasn't hitting it, and I was just kind of like,
Yeah.
so,
It was still crazy though because he was jumping like 50 and a half every single jump, which is just stupid. So it's actually wild. So yeah, I'd say it was we were all just really hoping he would hit it.
yeah.
And obviously he didn't.
We
hit
would have
it,
went crazy if he did
Yeah.
hit it. Everybody would have been going nuts for a little bit, and that would have been obviously a world record. So that would have been really crazy to see.
What is the craziest dunk you've ever seen in person? 360 under both from Isaiah.
Oh yeah, that's definitely one of them.
540 from Kilgannon. Triple up, East Bay by Isaiah. I forgot to be in Jonathan's wall twice, which was sick. Triple up Scorpion. If you guys don't know what that is, it's like two people stacked on top of each other in Kilgannon. Did that.
That's definitely
You
up there.
can say some because I'm trying to think.
Well, I would say one of the best I've seen is under both off the backboard by Donovan. That was pretty crazy. Um, it's not really like the most technical dunk, but he did a between the legs south bounce into a 360 East Bay. That was kind of insane to see. So,
dude.
but like technicality wise, definitely I would say 360 under both. Um, what else is there? I'm trying to think.
I just thought of one. Oh yeah, in 2022, I witnessed a 360 behind the back between legs on 9-9, but that was pretty crazy. I actually don't think I saw that in person.
I think you were watching
Yeah.
somebody else or something.
Yeah, I think I was watching Kilgann because he was on a different court, but
Yeah.
yeah, I've seen.
There's plenty of
Plenty of
them. I just
things.
don't know. I can't really choose.
Yeah. Can you dunk off 1 foot? Answered earlier, but yes, just not very
Yes,
consistently.
same.
Do you still do AAU? Obviously, Hunter's too old to do AAU. I did not do it this year just because
no.
the 4 games a day gets my knee pain going crazy. But
I think
How
people do
long-
even have it here.
how long should it take me to increase my vert by 9 inches? We get questions like this a lot. Like, what is the timeline for this? Like, how long will it take me to get that? And what I want y'all to understand is it really doesn't matter. Like, if you're doing the right things, it does not matter how long it's going to take. If it's truly something that you love, then it won't matter.
Exactly.
If you're literally just trying to like get a few inches, just like impress some people with your jumping, then you probably don't love it that much. So yeah, I would just say like take it like every day, and just like Isaiah says all the time, just fall in love with the process, and the results will come. Like it took
after.
Isaiah 9 years to get to 50 inches. But somebody could do the exact same thing, and it might take them a year.
Yeah.
So it totally depends on your genetics. But at the end of the day, your genetics don't really matter. Like, I hear a lot of people say, like, oh, well, my genetics aren't good, so there's no reason to train. It's the exact same. If my genetic peak is 50 and his is 45, it literally doesn't matter. We're both training because we love dunking. And at the end of the day, if he can only jump 45 and I can jump 50, which, is what it's like right now. I'm just kidding. But
And another thing with that is everybody's training, everybody's path is different. So like for me, I mean, I kind of had a crazy story. Like I gained like 10 inches of vert in like a year. That's just because the training that I was doing, I've never done in my entire life. Like I've done little itty bits of it. But then I started to actually do that training. Vert skyrocketed because I already had a base down of functional training and also dunking like when I was a kid, when I was really young. So like when I just got stronger, it just started to skyrocket. Yeah. So it also depends where you're at right now. That also could play a big factor into
like if your
your
vert's
increase.
20 inches, it'll take way less time than if your vert's 40. So, yeah, but it really doesn't matter. Just take it day by day. I just missed a question, but one of them was, do you believe Wilt Chamberlain's vertical is actually 48 or 50? No, I don't think any NBA player's verticals, especially before recent years, are really accurate. And even in recent years, like Reed Shepherd tested like a 41 or something, and PJF or something was talking about how his reach was like 4 inches shorter than it should have been. So, yeah, it's crazy. Basically, every single NBA player lies about their verticals. There was no way to test your vertical, by the way, when Wilt was playing. So they literally just made up a number, basically, which is hilarious. Same with Michael Jordan. By the way, I believe Michael Jordan's the best basketball player of all time. I'm not going to argue about it because I just don't really want to have the argument and don't really care. But that just shows you, like, I believe that Jordan is the best. Jordan's my favorite player, or one of my favorite players, and I do not think he had anywhere near a 48. Like, I'm not just saying this because I hate on Wilt Chamberlain. Like, every NBA player's vertical is false. It's just a fact.
Yeah. You think because you also got to think a lot of these guys are really tall. So when you have a taller guy, it takes a lot more to get a higher vertical. Yeah. Like someone that's really, really short can get a really high vertical, but then you have a guy that's like 6'8", they're not going to have a very high vertical because they have to touch so much higher, and they have to get their head like above the rim just to have a 50. Yeah. So like LeBron probably has like a 40, maybe
like a 42 on his best jumps.
But nobody really has. I mean, I'd probably say Ja's pretty close to 45 plus, if not more.
Yeah, but he's one of the only guys. It's crazy. All right. Next question is, what is your right-left plant vertical? I'm left-right. He's right-left. So obviously we're just going to do off-plant. My off-plant vert, I don't really know what it is, to be honest, but I'd say it's like mid-30s. Really not. It's probably like The difference is definitely 6 or 7 inches because I can like not windmill right left, and I can like easily windmill East Bay left right. So I don't really know. I'd say like 30. What do you even think? I don't even know, bro.
It's so hard to tell.
Like it's hard to tell because my hands are also not as good right left. Like I can't do the same amount of trick dunks. So I'd say like 34 to 35. Maybe.
I'd say
yours is higher.
I would say 35 at least.
Yours is probably 36, 37.
Yeah, I mean, I did some practice jumps, and I got pretty close to 11 feet with like Crocs on, with a left-right approach. So, and my highest touch I think was like 11.2.5 or 11.1.5 with my right left, which was last year at camp, but definitely higher now. But I would say at least 35 for left-right, and then 1 foot. Probably same thing, maybe a little bit lower.
Probably lower for me.
Yeah.
Who's the person in the kitchen behind you sneaking up on you? Nobody. Yeah, nobody's there. Can you do a 360 tomahawk? I don't think so, actually. I can do a 360. I've never tried a 360 tomahawk.
I've never done a 360 tomahawk before, but I've definitely done a 360. I don't think I definitely could, but I've never tried it before, so.
How tall do you think you will be? I assume he's done.
I'm probably done growing. Maybe I'll squeak out a little, maybe a half inch or something. But
you're done. I hope I can get to 6 foot. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because I'm gonna make up for it with my hand speed and my vertical. So yeah, I'm 5'10.5". If I can even make it to 5'11", I'd be cool with that. So
yeah,
what's a reasonable genetic peak for a person with consistent training? Yeah, let's just say you're doing like perfect training. I would say 40 for sure. I believe that basically every single person can hit a 40-inch vertical if they train properly for a long period of time. I would say if you're like in any way athletic, you could probably get to 45.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Smartest pro dunker. I don't know if you're calling us the smartest pro dunkers or if you're asking who the smartest pro dunker is.
I think who.
Who's the smartest pro dunker?
I mean, it's kind of hard to tell because there's training wise and then there's actual dunk wise. I mean,
I'd say Kilgannon knows the most
yes.
about dunking just because he created about half of the sport.
Yes.
I
would say on the training side is probably Isaiah.
Isaiah's probably the smartest.
Just because he has John on his side. So
favorite dunker in the NBA, got to go with Ant from Minnesota. So yeah, it's probably mine. Ja's up there too, though. If he can stay on the court.
I'd say, well, I don't know if he still is, but Mac McClung is definitely up there. I've been watching him since he was like a sophomore in high school. Ja's up there, Ant's up there. When the whole Zach LaVine was happening, Zach was definitely up there. But yeah, I mean, there's a ton. It's just obviously pros are would kill those guys. I think Mac would actually probably put up a pretty good fight.
I didn't think about Mac. Mac would have a good chance, but I still don't think he
could. Pros would kill NBA players.
Yeah.
It's not even close.
Who's your? Oh, I already answered that. So I'm stupid. Thoughts on Jaylen Brown's performance in the dunk show this year? Should not have made it to the finals. What's his name? Toppin. Jacob Toppin.
Oh my
God. Had 360, lost and found, 2 in, finished playing for the second round. If you don't know what that is, look up 360 lost and found by Jordan Killian, and then add a 2-in finish to that. It's one of the craziest dunks of all time, and he hit it like 7 times in one day or something crazy like that. So yeah, I'm pretty disappointed that the NBA did that, but I get it. You know, they wanted their
publicity
star,
and everything like that.
At the end of the day, nobody liked it. So
it is what it is.
Are your hands bigger for better gripping the ball? I mean, that's a kind of a weird question, I guess, but yeah, I have decent sized hands, but at the end of the day, your hand size actually doesn't matter. Like palming a ball is a skill, and Kilgannon has really shown us that. Like, if you put my hands up to Kilgannon's, his probably go to like here. Like, he's
I don't know about
maybe not that, but he has pretty small hands, especially considering his height. But he literally just palms the ball all the time. Like, he does palming exercises and stuff, so you can definitely get better.
Yeah, but a lot of with the dunks that we do, we're actually never palm the ball, like ever. I would say cuffing is a big one that people do, but a lot of it's momentum. So whenever we're doing a lot of trick dunks, it's the momentum that's carrying us over the rim. It's not us going like this, doing an East Bay, and then we're palming the ball all the way up. It's the momentum we're carrying.
It definitely helps if you can do it, but it's not a huge thing.
I'd say cuffing probably is a little bit better than palming. Maybe.
Yeah. Just want to take a quick break and say thank you all for all the questions. It's been great. Probably going to go for like another 10, 15 minutes. But
I'd say, yeah.
make sure to keep asking some questions, and whatever y'all got, we'll try to answer it. One of them is, who will test 50 at dunk camp? I'd say the only people at dunk camp that are capable of testing 50 are Isaiah and Kilgannon. Obviously, Kilgannon hasn't tested 50 officially, but I believe he's definitely got it in him. So
he's in dunk sessions. He's hit 50. There's no way
yeah.
on some of his jumps.
What else?
I'd say, I mean,
Donovan's
I was about to
close.
say, I would say Donovan would probably make a run for it. Obviously, he's 6'3.5", so obviously he's a little bit taller than everybody else, but he just jumps so freaking high, dude.
Yeah.
Like
Someone just says someone just says
crazy.
he has a 52. he's definitely got high 40s. I don't know about 50, but
He's got at
maybe,
least a
maybe
46.
He'll surprise us, bro.
He's got at least a 46.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
but I say he's got a good one. I don't really know. I mean, Sutherland probably. Maybe.
Sutherland's up there.
Yeah.
Between 48 and 50 for sure.
I don't really think there's anything else, anybody else, but yeah.
Henry said under the legs. That is definitely a goal right now.
That's still a goal. I said that's still an ongoing goal for me.
Yeah, I've had some decent attempts. Like I can't remember what my first good attempt was. I think it was with you in Minnesota in like March or something.
Or was it Winona? I think your first good one was in Winona.
Like, the one I had with you was decent. Winona was after it. So yeah, I've had some decent attempts. It was really close on 9-10.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I've hit 2, and I'm still trying to hit more. I'm trying to make it consistent, but it's such a technical dunk. So, but we'll see what happens.
Someone said I'm 5'9" with a 24-inch vertical. My max touch on the rim is 9.6. I hate doing legs. It is declining my vertical.
Interesting.
I would say that, or no, it's declining your mental health. Sorry, I don't know why I said that.
Okay. I was like, okay.
Yeah. So I would say that, again, this all boils down to if you love it or not. So if doing legs is not something you enjoy doing, maybe you need to just reconsider. Like, if you don't like doing legs, then that's really just the process for dunking. So it's difficult. There's gonna be hard things you gotta do in life. So I don't know. Yeah, I would say if you don't want to do legs, you can still have fun with dunking. Like if you are literally like, I just hate working out, you can still have fun with dunking. You can be good at dunking. Like the cool thing about dunking is you can be, 5'2" and 500 pounds. You can still dunk. Like, I mean, not on 10 feet, but even if it's on 6 feet, like it's fun no matter what.
Yeah.
So
5'2", 500 is crazy.
Is a 360 double E spay possible? 100%. Kilgannon had an insane attempt at 2023 camp, and I know he tries it quite often, and he's been super close. I bet in videos he hasn't posted.
Yeah.
So I totally can't wait for the day that he can throw that down. I think Isaiah's got it too, but yeah, it's totally possible. It'll take a while though. Is Hunter testing at camp? We should address this first. The schedule is kind of weird, and if you decide to test, it might mess with your jumping a little bit. Pretty unfortunate, but I made it work, but it definitely affected my session a little bit. So I decided, like, this camp, I'm not going to test because I just want to dunk. And that's what he did last camp, so obviously he might want to test. But
I do want to test just because I do want an official number, but also I haven't been basically training to get a high vertical. I've been training to get healthy. Yeah. So there's definitely a big difference. So even if I do test, like, I don't think I'm going to perform the best that I want. So I want to test when I'm actually 100% healthy and I have, like, no track record of any injuries for the past whatever. Because basically for the past, I'd say 2 or 3 months, I've been on load management on off because I just keep getting these Achilles flare-ups, knee flare-ups, back flare-ups, everything in between. So realistically, I'd say I'm not testing, but I definitely do because that is something that I do want to, like, have an official thing so I can be like, I do have this vertical. I officially tested.
That's literally the only reason I tested.
Because it's like I definitely have higher than the 37.5 that I got last year. Like, there's no question about it. But I can't technically say I have a 42, even though I think that's what my average would be or what I can get to. But again, I want to test, but I care about, like I said, I care about the dunking more than I do care about the vertical. So I think personally, I'm just not going to test because I think I can test kind of whenever. So
Yeah. Saludos desde Mexico. Hola, mi amigo. I actually do speak Spanish if y'all didn't know. How do you feel about plyometrics? We discussed it a little bit earlier, but I guess we can get a little bit farther into it. I think the plyometrics are pretty overrated. Not like you shouldn't do them at all, or they're not good for certain people, but like for me, if I did plyometrics, I really wouldn't get anything out of it. The best things to do realistically are just max intent jumps and lifting. I know Isaiah did a full plyometric cycle, and I think it definitely helped him. Like he tested 50 pretty close after it, but at the same time he was already jumping 50. So I think it's definitely good for certain parts of training, but it's super specific. So yeah, I would say you do if you're just starting, there's no reason to only do plyometrics. You want to start only doing max intent jumps.
I'd say for me, from what I've done in the past, plyometrics definitely. Let's just say if I did more than one plyometric in a day, I would probably get injured. Just because, like I was doing alternate boundings and I would get pain, or I was doing sprinting and I was getting pain. But you got to think that, especially with him too. Obviously he's younger, but a lot of the dunking, like the guys that are dunking, that have sessions, like specific sessions, that's a plyometric in itself. That's the biggest plyometric you can do because you're doing max intense jumps. So you're still getting all these ground contact times, and just basically you're just getting this ground contact, and there's a lot to it. And if you do a lot, obviously there's a chance that you could get injured just because that's a lot of force. While as lifting, you can you're getting stronger, but you're putting down the force as well. But there's not as much just because you're not doing max effort jumps. So like for me, Personally, I think heavy lifting is going to be my friend, but when I was younger, I did a lot of plyometrics.
Yeah.
And my plyometric when I was really, really young was dunking on a low rim.
Yeah.
So
that's the best plyometric.
It kind of, I'd say just jumping is the best plyometric, and then lifting is definitely like the thing that correlates the best with that. But you can definitely get away with a lot of plyometrics. So it kind of just depends on how you're doing with the training. So
Gabe, I am not adopting you. Why did bro get up? I got up to check the other camera because we're uploading this on the podcast channel. Oh, my boy from Mexico said, Tengo 31 años, creen que puedo llegar a un dunk. Translation, he's 31 years old, you think he can dunk. No sé si hablas inglés, pero sí. I think anyone at any age can dunk. I mean, if you're like 90, maybe not. Or if you're like 2, maybe not. But between like 12 and like 55, I think it's totally doable for most people. You might have to like sacrifice some things, like you might have to lose weight. You might have to, train really hard, especially if you're, way down in the hole. But I think it's totally doable for most people if you just train properly. Thoughts?
Yeah, I would say I don't really have anything else to say about that. I mean, it's pretty similar thoughts on that. So,
is it bad that my body fat percentage is sub-zero, and if so, will that affect my 63-inch vertical? I think you're good, bro. Who do you think has the record vertical, Isaiah or Dak? I don't know if they have beef. I know they were a little bit for a while, but I think Dak is insanely bouncy. Dak tested 50 and a half at dunk camp. No question about it. Everything was measured that I know of. And Isaiah also tested 50 and a half in, where was it? Florida?
He's on it twice. 50. Oh, it was 50? I thought it was 50
They
and a half.
didn't measure the Vertec, and John has said that it was probably 50. So,
okay. Well, I didn't know that.
So some people, you guys might not know that. You might have just heard him say that and say, oh, he only had a 50. That was one time. He tested 50 and a half twice. Second one was in Florida. Vertec was measured. Everything was legit.
Kilgannon was there.
So if you guys don't know who that is, best dunker of all time, and he likes everything to be very legit, measures everything super precisely. So I would say that they are probably tied. I mean, I don't know. 50 and a half seems to be the max, but it's definitely possible. Gracias, bro. Si, senor. Gabe is lying. Yes, I know Gabe. Gabe is just trolling. I'm gonna leave because I'm watching a movie, but good luck on your stream, bro. Appreciate it. All right, we'll do a few more questions here. Just want to say a quick thank you to everyone in the stream for asking questions.
Really do appreciate it.
If you guys have missed a bit, it's going to be uploaded on the podcast channel. So if you want to check that out, it's called The Dunk Talk. I don't know why I forgot my own podcast name. I was thinking about something else. I read the question. But the question is a 2.5-inch vertical increase in a month good? Any vertical increase in any time period is good, in my opinion. Like, if I only increase my vertical 1/2 inch this entire year, I'm still going to be happy. Because at the end of the day, like I said, you just got to fall in love with the process. 2.5 inches in a month is pretty crazy. I'm assuming that if you increase your vertical by 2.5 inches in a month, you're either a beginner or you just unloaded or something. But no matter what, 2.5 inches is great. So
I mean, if you look at it, progress is progress.
yeah,
Any type of progress, doesn't matter what it is. That's why I think dunking is such a great sport, because there's always something that you can do better. And anything, it's like, I don't know if you guys ever heard about when we talk about different Q&As, but with basketball, there's so many factors. You have coaches, refs, players, whatever. You have a bunch of factors, but with dunking, it's yourself against yourself. Yeah, there's competitions and everything, but realistically, it is just yourself that can control everything. So like, there's always a new dunk goal that you can hit every single week, even if you want to try.
Exactly.
Like last year, 2023, I tried to get in a new dunk every single week, and I ended up hitting like 60 plus new dunks in a year because I just tried to hit as many new dunks as possible, try to get my body in these uncomfortable situations, and then they got obviously more comfortable. But it's like, there's always a new goal. So when you hit one goal, go for the next one, and then progress is progress. So if it's whether it's you're hitting a new dunk, or you increase your vertical, or you got stronger, increase in anything is an increase. Progress is progress. So be happy with what you have.
Please wish me a happy birthday. Happy birthday,
Happy
Freddie.
birthday.
Appreciate you tuning in. Are you famous in your school because of your crazy vert? Surprisingly, nobody really cares. Kind of joking. I mean, obviously, quite a few people know, just because, I post quite a bit on social media, if that wasn't obvious, since we're streaming right now. But, yeah, I'd say generally quite a few people know, but dunking is still a pretty niche thing.
Yeah.
So nobody really cares. I mean, they just think, if you can jump high,
You can
go get rebounds.
basically, or whatever. But yeah, when I was in high school, I didn't really have a lot of bounce, so really nobody knows. But if people haven't seen me from high school and they see me now, they'll probably be like, "What happened?" Because I kind of went crazy. But yeah, nobody cared enough.
Yeah, for sure.
I was rim grizzing, so
yeah, a lot of people just think it's dumb, to be honest. They're training like just to dunk. So
they don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, dunking is like you said, a very niche thing, and it is hard to understand if you don't even if you don't play basketball, it's hard to understand. But even some people that do play basketball, they're just like, why do that in a game? Like, what's so hard about it, or whatever. But it actually is there's a basketball skill and there's a dunking skill. Like, they're two different things.
Very different.
There are people that play basketball that can actually dunk very well. But there's some people that are dunkers that can't play basketball very well because they're two different things. Like Jordan Kilgannon, Isaiah, I haven't seen them hoop too much. I mean, I've seen Isaiah hoop a little bit, but they're probably the greatest dunkers on earth, and they're not really the best basketball players, but they're the best dunkers because there's two different skills to it.
Yeah.
So,
are you the highest jumper in your school, or are there crazy naturally gifted guys better than you? There were two guys last year, Julian and Rich, that were super bouncy. Not fully naturally. I mean, they trained for sure, but I still might jump higher than them at my best. I don't really know. But right now, yeah, for sure. There's like 2,000 kids in my school, though, so I guess I don't really know. There might be some random kid. But should I get basketball shoes? I've been jumping in slip-ons. I would say jump. Yeah. I would say basketball shoes can definitely help you with your vertical. but they're not going to be like, it's not going to be like a night and day. Well, I mean, maybe if it's slip-ons.
Yeah, I was about to say slip-ons is kind of crazy.
Yeah, slip-ons is crazy. But I would say it'll definitely increase your vertical a tiny bit, but don't count on it to be like,
it's not going to be the magic fix.
I can't dunk at all, and now I can windmill, you know?
Yeah.
So there are definitely shoes that are good, but...
Like we kind of said earlier, insoles and shoes are not going to make the biggest difference. If you really want to make a difference, you have to train and you have to go out and do it to get better. These little gimmick things are not going to, like shoes, insoles, whatever. Yeah, they can help like with confidence and maybe a little bit of performance, but it's not going to be a drastic where you're going to gain 5 inches of vertical. Yeah, you might gain like a half inch, maybe. Maybe if you're lucky, 1 inch. But like I said, I don't know the whole tech around it or research about it. But if you really want to get something like a higher vertical, train. That's the biggest thing that you can do to get a higher vertical and jump, obviously. But
where are we from? I'm from Minnesota. Hunter is from
Wisconsin, which we are at right now for dunk camp that is happening next week. So
if you're in Wisconsin, pull up to the dunk show Thursday.
Please do.
It's gonna be crazy. I'm like 5'8", dunking on 9. Is that good? Kind of comes back to, it doesn't really matter. I would say it's good, just because, I mean, I know 5'8" guys like in East Bay, but I also know, 6-foot guys that probably can't even dunk on 9 feet. So at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. Like, it's a good starting point no matter wherever you're at.
Yeah.
So I would just say keep training, fall in love with the process, and yeah. Tips for growing taller, and what height is it easy to dunk? I wouldn't say there's a specific height that's easy to dunk. I mean, I would say anyone that's 5'10" or taller can pretty much guaranteed dunk with a decent amount of training. But again, like we said, you can be 5'4" and you can dunk.
Yeah, so. I mean, height does obviously help the easy factor just because you have a less distance to actually get to the rim. But it definitely doesn't help too much because... my dad actually had like 2 friends that were 6'8" and they couldn't even, I don't even think they could touch rim. So it like height does matter a little bit, but at the same time it doesn't. So, All
right, we got like a minute left here. So who's the best sportsman of all time? In dunking, Kilgannon. In basketball, Jordan.
Yep.
How long have you been on your dunk journey? I've been going since I was around 12.
Yeah.
So
I would say like
time.
Consistently, I'd say 2 years, but if you want to get like real about it, I would say since I was like, I'd say around 12 too, maybe 13-ish, something like that. Yeah. Just because I was being a kid, so it kind of just varies.
Really appreciate y'all tuning in, answering, and asking some questions. We'll be back soon for sure, so make sure to stay tuned. And yeah, see you on the next one. Peace out.
Peace out.
All right, we just concluded the stream, so I'll conclude here now. That was a pretty good stream, actually. Yeah. Definitely better than some of my other ones. So, yeah, really appreciate y'all tuning into the first in-person podcast with both of us. We'll have another one very soon with Dom Dunks. So make sure to stay tuned for that. It'll be a lot of fun. But yeah, again, thank you all for watching. See you on the next one. Follow me on Instagram at DylanHaugen23. Follow the new podcast account, Dunk Talk Podcast.
You can find me at hunter.dunks, basically on all platforms. YouTube's Hunter Dunks. And then also with the Dom Q&A, we're going to be doing his story for most of it. So it's not really going to be about like you guys answering questions or asking questions, us answering. It's going to be more about his journey, just like how the other podcasts have been. So we might do a little bit of a Q&A with him, like on a live stream or something too. But just for that podcast in general, we're going to be doing his journey. So obviously stay tuned for that. Probably going to do that pretty soon here because he gets in tomorrow. So yeah, otherwise just stay tuned for the videos. There's going to be a lot of content coming out from Wisconsin camp. Vlogs, we got sessions, we got Q&As, just a bunch of different stuff that we're going to be doing. So be on the lookout for a bunch of that stuff. So.
Sir. All right.
See y'all later. Bye-bye.